morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I got several things to talk about today. As you can see, I've got some Trump stuff here on the board because of what happened. Some things have happened that I want to talk about. Yes, I am wearing the same shirt and the same shorts as yesterday. I'm doing all my laundry. So this is what I wear when I'm doing my laundry and beating around the house generally on the inside of the house. Sometimes I'll have regular clothes on, trousers and shirt in the house, but it's been pretty hot, so I actually went to shorts here a couple days ago. So yeah, that's why I'm dressed like this. So anyway, I did a few videos on my radios yesterday, and I talked a little bit about how radios work in layman's terms, because the videos are geared towards the average person that doesn't know anything about radios, and basically they probably just work a 9-to-5 job, and everybody's that's interested in the Minuteman series is generally just a regular person. Well, I can't say that either, because there's a lot of former military that are involved in the Minuteman thing too. But I'm talking about those who are coming on board with it because of the way that the world is right now, and the way that our countries are around us, right? So more of your average person are coming on board with the Minuteman type scenario, and they want to get involved in that. So the videos are kind of just describe how a radio works, right, as far as power and signal go, and use of antenna and so forth, right, in the first video, and how the length of antenna, you know, in relation to like having a longer antenna to receive gives us a much greater chance of catching the signal of whoever's trying to talk to us, things like that, right? So you can go back and watch that video if you want. So we talked about radios and how they work a bit, all right, and different power settings and what you want to use the power settings for. If you have more questions on that, you can always ask me, okay? I have no problems talking to you about that. But like I said, I'm not a ham radio operator. You know, I'm not a person who's like delved into ham and all that, because number one, I've never had time, and number two, it seems all like geared towards getting you licensed and putting your private information online for everybody to see and stuff. You know, that kind of mentality about that has to go. We live in a world of that's very invasive into people's lives, and there's a lot of abuse of that now. You know, the average person nowadays is a crook, it seems like, and you know, unlike maybe 60, 70 years ago when ham was, you know, a hobby for guys and young men and young women, a nice hobby and blah blah blah, and get the community involved, and you know, search and rescue, and you know, and if there's a natural disaster, you can call on us and we'll do communications for you. All those days are all those happy-go-lucky leave it to beaver days are gone. You can't just put your information out there because somebody's going to abuse it. And this is where the ham radio community, the ones that are involved in the licensing and all that stuff, that's where they got it all backward. They need to change gears, and they need to change to the times, because this isn't yesteryear. This is now. We live in a very volatile, unsafe world. So that's the reason why I never got involved in ham radio, and I'm not going to get involved in ham radio for that purpose, because I like my privacy and I like to protect myself against evil people that want to use me to their advantage. Okay, and I think there are a lot of other people that think exactly the same way, because there's, like I said in the other video, there's a lot of guys that they're out there learning on their own, and they're doing things, making it, making progress on their own and so forth, being ready for emergency situations outside of that community, so anyway, that's all I'm really going to say on that. Then what I want to say is that the radios that I showed you, anybody can get those radios, and I did all the research on antennas and so forth. I do have a microwave transceiver and radio background of actually working on radio circuit boards and things like that. I did go to school for that as a civilian. Worked on a lot of surface mount technology things for a big company which I will not name. And anyway, so I only got a few minutes left in this video. We may go to one more, but those videos are basically a tutorial on how to get your radios together, get your antennas together, give you an idea how it works, and then go from there. A radio like that is just like a phone. Instead of typing in a telephone number, you just type in the frequency, and then you talk on it. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's two-way communication. Okay, me to you and you to me. Now, you could do a repeater. Okay, you find the repeaters in your area. And the thing about repeaters is that you're going to have to set up your radio to talk to the repeater. Basically, you set an offset, is what's called an offset. Again, I'm not a ham radio guy, okay? So if I make a mistake, don't message me with, hey, that's not right, that it's kind of like those people that talk about your misspellings online or something like that. If you misspell a word accidentally because you got quick with the fingers and whatever. Not everybody's got time to go back and correct all that stuff, so just move on. Anyway, if you want to get way out there, then you gotta get the local repeater. Okay, the repeater will repeat your voice message. So if I say, hey Joe Schmo, you out there? And it gets to the repeater, and then the repeater just broadcasts it out. Okay, so that's the way that works. And and repeaters are listening all the time, but you gotta know what to put into your radio. So when you say something to the repeater, the radio basically says, hey, it's me. Here's the password. Let me in. And then the repeater recognizes it, and then the message goes out over the repeater, right? So the problem with repeaters is that most repeaters are owned by people that don't like Ronin radio operators, okay? Rogues. You might call them rogue radio operators, right? They don't like those kind of people. So that's one of the problems is that the SHTF happens, right? We end up having Civil War or Second American Revolutionary War here in the United States. I get this one spot that just doesn't want to stop. I got these, I got dead skin now from the poison ivy. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so war happens, and you need to get a message out. There are a lot of these guys that own these repeaters that they're not gonna buy into that. They're not gonna help, you know. They're like, we will win this back by voting, you know. And the thing is that there's an old saying. It says, when the ballot box fails, the cartridge box prevails, right? That's an old saying from back in the old days, right? Athens, Tennessee. Look that up, where servicemen came back from the Second World War, and they revolted against the local sheriff who was running Athens, Tennessee like his own little kingdom, right? Anyway, so they tried to control all the voting there, and the veterans that came back Second World War, they were like, screw this. They armed up with their guns, and they went down. The sheriff had taken all of the ballot boxes to the sheriff's station, right? Which was it was a stone building, so it was kind of a fortified location. Anyway, so there ended up being a gunfight, and the sheriff and somebody else got out and they ran off. They did get away from that situation. And then the rest of the deputies come out with their hands up. So they arrested all of the sheriff's deputies. The citizens did. They arrested them at gunpoint. They said, you know what? This kind of tyranny is not going to happen anymore. Right? So this is one of the problems we have in our own country today. People trying to control the voting, trying to control the ballots and so forth, right? We saw it in the last election, which was stolen. We saw it firsthand. I saw numbers on the video, on the TV screen, because I was watching a TV monitor of the election that night. There was like a little election party or something. And I was watching the TV screen, and the numbers were changing on the votes. You had the calculator out, checking stuff out. They were doing it live. There were a lot of people that did catch that, but there were a lot of people that didn't. They were cheating on live TV. So anyway, in that last election, they had people going out to these boxes where you put votes in, you know, absentee voting. So the Democrats, that's what they call themselves, but they're really communists. They were taking airplane luggages full of fake votes and stuff in those boxes. You guys need to stop that. You need to stop that. You need to put guards out there watching, and if anybody tries to do that again, you need to get the cops over there to do their job. You say, hey, you need to get over here. I'm making a citizen's arrest until you get here. I'm not allowing this to happen. You need to get over here post haste. You need to arrest these people. Alright, we'll come back in another video. See you there.